welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up if you like the content, and make sure to turn on your post notification to get all of the great episodes from either the kayak build or the condo renovation. Today we're going to do a little bit of condo renovation. I'm at the house, and so one of the things that we want to do is actually prepare some of our oak railing. I need to, and this is what I've already done as a test, is I'm actually taking and making these ends look like this. So we're going to cut these down so that one, we've got a 12-foot section, and then we've got this corner here. So I'm going to cut this one down here to 41, and we'll cut this bevel. And these are just regular 45-degree angles, nothing big from this standpoint. And I'll get these all prepped, and we'll nail those together, glue and nail, and then we'll just let them dry. And then I'm going to take and cut down these posts so that they're at the right height. Then we're going to do a little bit of work on the kayak. So let's get watching. So a little bit of trial and error to get to the right piece. Those will make great pieces of firewood. What I'm going to do now, I've got the air compressor turned up. I'm going to just I've taken and sanded these just a tad. I'm going to put some glue on it, and then I'm going to pop some nails in there. And that should be all that we need to do to hold that. Trying to put enough glue on this, probably way too much glue. Matter of fact, it feels like way too much glue, so I'm going to put some over here. That's probably enough for both of them. Okay. So that's put 2 nails in there. That's going to be enough to hold it. I'll make sure that this is straight because it looks like it got a little bit out. Got the PSI turned up to 100 now. Actually, go a little more. This wood is so hard. There we go. That's it. It was 110. Okay, so that does it for that. We've got both of these ends on. It's going to look really good once we get that all sanded, and then we'll take and get the stain and the polyurethane on. Well, I tell you what, that is certainly an upgrade from what was there. What was there is just a piece of 2x2. So this is really going to be good. So I'm going to go ahead and set things up, because what we're going to do is come in here and take care of these newel posts and get those cut down to size. We need to cut those to 49 inches tall, and that's going to get our railing at the top there about 43. So it's going to be pretty tall. It's going to be good because we don't want anybody falling over. And it's actually maybe a little bit higher than specs. So I'm going to get this set up and we'll cut those. Well, there's actually a couple things here that I want to make sure is right. One, I didn't trust my measurements of going up. I know that this is the right where I want it to be. The thing that I didn't want to do is maybe these two were not exactly the same height. So I'm just going to come in here and scribe my line, knowing that I need to be on the other side of that line to make that work. But here's the other thing. I would have thought this would have been solid. It does have wood in there, and it is going to be bolted down way up inside. So I'm hoping that that'll be okay. Because we're going to drill. It's going to make it really difficult to drill in there. We'll just have to find a section to drill, or we'll take and find some other pieces of wood to kind of cram in there and get that a little bit flatter. But let's see what we can get out of this next one. Just going to be challenging all the way around putting this thing up. Well, that one there is at least a little better. Got a little something more substantial to kind of work on. That's it. I don't know what we could do with those. You know, it's one of those things you kind of go, well, I could believe those are, I don't know what to do with them, so we'll see. Maybe there's something. If anything, it's firewood, so it's always good. I'm going to clean all this up, and then we can take a break. Oh, and then we're going to do a little work on the kayak. So we'll be right back at you. Well, we're out here continuing our work on the railings for the condo. And what I've done is I've coated them with this crappy Minwax Performance Series tinted stain. The reason why I'm calling it, I just don't recommend it at all. The biggest part is it never dries. It truly never dries. Or if it does, it takes days to dry, which is really sad. But the only way to, I mean, you keep this on as long as you can. I just slather it on there. It really doesn't help. But then you actually just have to come back in and you wipe it off. Now that's just not like any, I mean, all stains are that way. But the thing that I'm finding is that this thing keeps seeping, which is bad. So I'm just going to take this and kind of get a lot of the material off, because I really put it on there thick. Keep it on as long as you need. The one thing that I did find is that it doesn't matter how long I keep it on there, it's basically the same color. Even if I do multiple coats, basically the same color. So I wanted it to be this gray because then it'd match everything on the floor, but needless to say, it's not. So I just take and wipe this down, get it as close as possible, and move on. It does kind of go a little bit darker when you end up putting the polyurethane on, but it's still not the way I would have liked it. So that is it. The finish is good. I just wish that it would be a little darker, because I'll show you what we were trying to get to. Come over here, it's a little dirty over here. But this is what we're trying to match to. I mean, it's okay, but I still wanted kind of more of a gray. And it just won't go. So here's the other wood. Those were the steps. So it is red oak, so it does have a red tint in it. So maybe I could have chosen a different wood, but it's not as prevalent. But it'll end up drying eventually. We'll see what it is now, because I was doing it in the fall. It is summer, but heck, we've only got, I don't know, temperatures in the 70s right now, so that may change a little bit, but let's go ahead and we'll check this out tomorrow or a little bit later on tonight. So this is the next day, and we came out. Of course, they still were not dry, but we went ahead, and this is the same thing that happened with the other ones. The things would never dry. So what we ended up doing was just put a coat of polyurethane on, and the polyurethane, although goes on really nice, it's fast drying. It'll take until tomorrow. Maybe it'll be dry by then. And then we'll take and do a little light sanding with some really high. It may not, because it's pretty smooth now. If it doesn't need to be sanded, we'll just put another coat on. If it is dry, that one actually dries a whole lot faster. So this, I think, kind of seals the wood so that you don't have all the seepage still coming out. But we'll catch you tomorrow and see how this works. So we've allowed this to dry. It did dry overnight. We've taken a light piece of sandpaper of very high grit and gone over the whole surface. And we're actually putting down our second coat. Should go a lot quicker in drying. So it should be ready by this afternoon or tonight. We'll be able to put the last coat on. So let's do that. Well, there you go. I have put the second coat on. Didn't take too long. We'll just let those dry, and we'll come back out and put the last coat on. Second coat dry later on today, and what we're going to end up doing is we're actually going to put on our last coat, and that'll be it. Well, that's it. We have finished these. They're kind of glossy right now, but they're going to go back to a matte finish, similar to what we've done on all of our other parts that we actually did. Everything looks good. Happy with the results. Still, I would stay away from that stain because that stain's not good. But, you know, the end results are great. It's just a nasty material to work with. So thanks for watching this part. The next part we'll be putting these up. So maybe this weekend. So it looks like we need to come back here and do a little painting. We are going to lift these up a little higher. So we're going to punch these in or pull them out and sand them down and then put some spackle on there. We're going to end up finding out where these studs are and we're going to put them in a stud because these next ones only have one. So let's go ahead and get that done. Well, that didn't take long at all. Of course, it's just the first coat. I'll have to come back and coat that again, but then also do some painting up along here. We didn't do that good of a job rolling up there, but that'll be easy enough. So let's get the stud finder out and see if we can find all of the studs that we're going to put in, because we just want to go directly into the wood in all of these. The studs were actually in the exact same place, but they had all of these kind of just the rubber mounts in there. That's why I didn't understand why they did that. But those are all set. It's a little difficult one finding that third one there. But we're going to measure this out so that these are both the same height, and then we'll determine where that first one is, and we'll put that in. So I'm able to get this in. I've got to take and get something to pull this one here out, but I was able to put this in too. So it is nice and sturdy. It'll be sturdier with that one, but that looks good down there. So let's see if we can get this one here taken care of. And that'll be it, with the exception of coming in here, repainting and doing that one. I did lodge a couple screws up in here. maybe a file, but happy with where that all started and ended. So that'll be it for putting in the railings today. I do need to come back and do a little painting and put a few more screws in, but I think the results look good. And that'll be it for the downstairs. Actually, the downstairs is finished. The next thing after this is we'll start working on the railing there. I've got all the pieces, but we just have to find the time to do it. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, well, hey, thanks for trying. Hit that thumbs up. If you like the content, make sure to turn on your post notifications. We will catch you later.